Which cryptocurrencies are actually investable? In this video, we have 5 areas of the market that are gaining a lot of attention right now in August and beyond. We're going to start with Bitcoin and how this network is growing. Also, if you do have the crypto investor course already, the free update is coming this weekend. So watch out for that. I'll put the message in the Discord groups as well about the update. If you don't have it yet, a bunch of updates are coming about my research and my strategy for the next Bitcoin halving. 300 videos here as well if you want to check it out. I'll leave the link down in the description. Firstly, with BTC, what you want to know is the network growing? So let's have a look at that. Around 28, 29,000, 30,000. It's all irrelevant because the Bitcoin halving is in April next year. Addresses with a non-zero balance are at an all-time high. That's all you need to know. The network is as active and as large as ever. Non-zero balance addresses, all-time high. Now we have Bitcoin active addresses around about 950,000, call it a million. Watch this, 1 million active addresses per day throughout the bear market. In the previous cycle bear market, you can see active addresses around 600 to 700,000. So a big growth in the active addresses from one bear market to another bear market. The Bitcoin network is growing over time. That's all you need to know about this. Now, valuations change throughout cycles, but that doesn't matter if you're a long-term investor. Here we can see from Raoul Pal, crypto users versus internet users yearly growth. Year 1 down here was when both networks in total totaled 1 million users. So the internet itself, 1 million users, crypto in general, not just Bitcoin, but all of the networks, 1 million users. You can see that the crypto yearly growth is actually faster than the internet. Makes a ton of sense. The internet is a physical network as well, had to get built out, slower adoption. Once that's there, internet coins can proliferate extremely quickly. We are now growing at a faster rate overall than the internet itself, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. It's not just Bitcoin, but it's one of the best ways to play general growth in the industry. Crypto is growing. If you want to invest in crypto, obviously that's important. If it's not growing, don't invest in it. Now, obviously each coin is separate as well. Some will go bust, some will do very well, but obviously you can make those decisions. How does crypto grow, and how does the valuation of Bitcoin grow itself? These are a massive story over the next 8-9 months, right? So February, I think, is the deadline for the application of these ETFs. There is a date in August, 2 weeks time, where ARK Invest 21 shares, this one right here, is going to be decided on by the SEC. They have an opportunity to either reject, approve, or delay their decision. I believe they will delay their decision. They're suing everyone. They're still really anti-crypto. I doubt they're going to accept a Bitcoin ETF right now. Maybe I'll be surprised. If I am, great news. If I'm not, I am looking forward to the FUD to drive us down to lower price levels in order to accumulate. As we can see here, Bitcoin is still in an uptrend from its low in the bear market down here at 15. This uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. We are coming down into this channel right now. We could bounce from here, although I doubt it. There's a lot of FUD going around right now with Curve Finance, which I'll explain in a second. Very happy, as I've said in previous market update videos, to just accept the FUD around this ETF decision. I really hope that the SEC pushes it back and tries to FUD the industry more and more and more, bringing the price down as low as possible. We are in a bull market, in my opinion, and any dips are to be bought. Bitcoin can regularly draw down 20 or 30% during bull markets, and that is a great buying opportunity, even for a short-term trade if you are a short-term speculator. Like I said in previous market updates, any FUD around this date drives us down to this price, a great speculative long in my opinion, and that's how I would try and play it. If you're a trader as well, Bybit deposit bonus up to 30K. Check the link in the description. You can make a deposit and trade. You get a deposit bonus up to 30,000 via that link below. When it comes to Ethereum, the main question to ask, in my opinion, is the SEC going to try and destroy it, or does it have a pass? Now, the SEC is calling everything in crypto a security, and they're suing everyone. Does Ethereum have a pass? Well, the CFTC, the commodities regulator in the States, has said publicly that they will actually challenge the SEC in court about Ethereum being a security versus a commodity. So the CFTC fundamentally believe that Ethereum is a commodity and that they actually could challenge the SEC about that as well. Now, the laws or the proposed laws that just passed through the House of Representatives in the States, also say that Ethereum and other networks that are sufficiently decentralized are commodities. That is not law yet. It still has to pass through the Senate and then actually get signed off by Biden, who probably won't do that because his administration is absolutely anti-crypto for the most part, as we've seen. So we may just still have this malaise and this uncertainty until next year when he may be voted out and someone else may be voted in, or if he stays for another 4 years, just going to have another 4 years of uncertainty, potentially. They're going to have to do something now, aren't they? Because they can't drag it out for another 5 entire years. So what's going to happen with Ethereum? Well, look, US is one market and the rest of the market has already decided that these decentralized networks are not securities. So that's what I'm working off. Now, the next question is Ethereum actually a valuable asset? Well, you can just look at this dashboard to understand why. Is it money? Is it a currency? Is it a commodity asset? One of those things. Probably not a currency, more like a crypto asset. In any case, what we can see is that the blockchain itself sells block space and makes profits. So it has some fundamental value because there is demand, there is a payment of money for a service, and then there is a profit that is returned to investors through this mechanism of burning tokens to increase the price of them over time. So with all of the absolute degeneracy that is happening on chain with bald base and all that nonsense and Curve getting liquidated, the house wins no matter what happens, as long as this degeneracy continues and there are trading volumes. So we can see the supply growth is minus 0.23% per year. So the supply growth is slightly negative, which is good news. And the staking yield is around 4%. So that's a decent marker if someone wants to invest in it. They know that they're getting some real yield and the inflation of coins is basically zero. So what is actually burning gas on Ethereum right now? Uniswap, as ever, is the number one, but the big story is layer 2 coins and layer 2 networks, which are proliferating right now and burning a ton of gas. So you have Linear, which is from Consensus, a ZK rollup, a layer 2. So they've integrated this directly into MetaMask, and it's literally the second network there now, right? So a lot of users in MetaMask are going to be using this layer 2. The layer 2 is already burning 500 ETH over the last 7 days. ZK Sync, another ZK rollup, another layer 2, burning 500 ETH. Optimism, which is the network that Baldbase and Binance and many other tokens I'm sure are going to move over to. So many alt L1s are going to be moving over to Ethereum L2s, in my opinion, and they're going to be using Optimism. Why? Because Optimism is open source. It's an open source tech stack that allows projects to become an ETH layer 2. That's where the liquidity is. That's where all the money is. And so a lot of L1 coins, they have useless L1 networks without security. No one wants to put their money on them. They're an L2. People can put their money on there. So this is a big coin, in my opinion, a big network and a big structure for the benefit of ETH. 450 ETH burned in the last 7 days. Arbitrum layer 2, Starkware layer 2, and there's going to be many more as well as we go down the list. So what you need to know is if Ethereum is going to just be a commodity in the States, and will the degeneracy continue to support the price of ETH? As we can see, Baldbase right here, it is a layer 2 on Ethereum for Coinbase. Again, Coinbase, amongst the most users of any ecosystem, right? Coinbase, Binance, both Ethereum layer 2s at this point, right? BNB coin and BNB chain is separate. However, OPBNB, this is Binance using the Optimism stack, exactly the same as Coinbase. So they are both competing on Ethereum. We can now see the layer 2 landscape changing massively. Now, most of the activity on here right now is utter garbage. Don't get involved with it. You know, the Bald token going up 40,000%, got completely rugged overnight, right? Down 88%. This is just complete nonsense, right? And so what we really need is actual real use cases on ETH. Now, this is a distraction, And obviously, degens are going to pump and dump their own money and probably lose everything. But you have Base, you have Linear, you have Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon now moving over. The layer 2 landscape is real. And for me, ETH is just the way to invest in it all without taking ridiculous more risk in small tokens that can pump, dump, and then you don't know which one of these networks is actually going to take off. Because I believe an investment in one of these networks is more of an investment in a project team that can actually attract certain applications. Because there's so much competition here. This is not an investment in one piece of infrastructure over another. ETH is the infrastructure. These networks are more about what applications can they build and actually keep on their chain. Because if an application is popular, which chain is it going to use? Well, it can use any of them. Maybe it uses the chain that invested in the development of the application in the first place. As we can see here, layer 2 is scaling Ethereum. So alt L1s are in a bit of a trouble. There cannot be new alt L1s unless they are very specific in the product that they have. So really what you'd have as an alt L1 is an alt L1 designed specifically for like a bunch of very specific applications. Now that may be worth something in the future. However, most businesses fail anyway. It's more of a business rather than a network infrastructure for a large decentralized amount of applications. Ethereum scaling factor is 4.87x right now. So you can see the blue line here. This is Ethereum just chugging along with the same amount of TPS. L2 is absolutely exploding over 180 days. You can see the amount of transactions per second now throughout all of the L2s is exploding. So this is scale, and this is potentially bringing much more use case to Ethereum, right? So transaction fees are a lot lower. You can look at payments, you can look at stablecoin payments, you can look at other types of applications, maybe even games or anything like that. But all of that eventually can be drawn down to the Ethereum layer 1, which is a secure base for issuing assets that need that security, and other networks which have a much smaller type of product. Maybe they're trying to build out products and services for end users. They can just become an L2 and have that security and liquidity of ETH. This is actually happening right now. It seems to be exploding. Most of the activity is utter garbage, but out of that's been happening in crypto a lot. Out of that comes these potential actual use cases that are actually investable. So there's a lot of activity, and you can see that happening. Once all of the garbage gets cleaned out, maybe there will be some actual long-term use cases like stablecoins and payments and stuff like that. Cardano ADA is flying under the radar, but the ecosystem is growing very fast, and now DeFi actually exists on this network. There are applications launching. A lot of these are gaining in TVL or total value locked. As we can see here, the TVL of ADA, now this is valued in ADA, we can see is moving up, right? So there has been a launch of DeFi on Cardano, and it is creating in green much higher volumes, trading volumes and activity on the network, and an increase in TVL. Now, the way that most of these coins seem to be valued is users times activity. So how much are they transacting and what's the value of that? The more the better, the higher value the network in general terms. So this is good news. We had a spike in activity, which has now come off, but that's understandable. You get spikes and then, drip downs. Seems to be working, and there's a lot more activity to come on ADA. Still very small in comparative terms to ETH or BNB or other networks which have far more users, more activity, and higher value in general. But it is a start, and DeFi is happening on Cardano. So very good news for the Cardano ecosystem to actually bring this on. And what's really needed is a US dollar 1-for-1 backed stablecoin. The stablecoins down here, like JED, are okay. A lot of people don't want to use them, even though it's been fairly stable. It's obviously going to have some tests along the way. When you have a 1-for-1 dollar backed stablecoin, people are, more inclined to use that. Liquidity can increase, and that helps DeFi overall. But the DeFi ecosystem is growing, and it's not a ghost chain. You can see this right now. It's happening. So 44,000 active users, and ADA TVL is rising over time, and trading volumes as well. With ADA, as we can see, the growth of the network is seemingly coming off bear market lows, but it is in nominal terms still much lower than other networks, right? So what we have here is the transactions and payments per day, if you just want to see that, you're looking at around 184,000 payments, around 60,000 transactions a day. So not bad, but it's still near bear market lows. You can see new wallets per day, around 1,500. Again, not a massive increase, but it is increasing overall. And the amount of ADA wallets is going up around 4.5 million right now. There has been some speculation and trade around Dogecoin for the reason that Elon is seemingly going to integrate Dogecoin into X somehow. We know that Elon wants to turn X into financial infrastructure as well. He's applying for payments and remittance licenses throughout the states. So this is obviously happening. And this logo right here between X and Doge has created a bit of a pump in Dogecoin. Is Dogecoin investable? Not in my opinion. Just want to compare the price charts here of Dogecoin against Bitcoin. So since the bull market, you can see in 2021, it's been, just dripping and losing value continually against BTC. Yes, you get these speculative waves which drive the price up, but just like assets that actually have a lot of sellers and just a long-term demand story, which isn't positive, you just get this drip down again and price is falling. Now remember, this is Dogecoin valued in Bitcoin. So yes, traders are maybe trying to pump it up a little bit and thinking that there's going to be some news flow around this. However, Dogecoin, in my opinion, is not suitable as a payments network at any large scale. Transaction fees are just going to get higher as more people use it. It's not scalable. There doesn't seem to be any real work making it scalable either. Ethereum is doing that hard work, and Bitcoin too with the Lightning Network. This is very hard work. Making things scalable and decentralized isn't easy. And they are the two projects that are actually trying to do it in a decentralized, reliable, and trustworthy way. It's very difficult. I believe Ethereum with layer 2s and stablecoins makes sense. Dogecoin as payments doesn't make sense either from an infrastructure standpoint or just people actually using that as a currency and switching over to Doge payments rather than dollars or something else. Doesn't make much sense to me. But traders are going to trade, and it's a new story, but not uninvestable in my opinion. You can see Dogecoin value in ETH terms as well. So this is Ethereum versus Doge. It's just a drip down. So yes, you had some sort of bull market high, and then since then just drips down over time. I believe that's the way it's going to go over time. But of course, there is a trade here for speculative traders. In my opinion, uninvestable as a payments network or a store of value. If you haven't got the crypto course yet, check the link below because an update is coming for free for existing users. So you can check out the details there. I'm James, Money DG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.